Hello, how are you? Marhaba. Hello. Welcome back to Decoded by Diverse. I'm your host, Dina Matar, and today we're going to be speaking with Ignacio Palomera, the founder and CEO of Bondex.
Blockchain just bursted into the scene, and I had already heard about it, so I got in pretty early. I'm talking Ethereum at 30, Bitcoin at 600.
Wow.
Institutional adoption was coming, and I was like, okay, this is the perfect time to launch what I call the Web3 LinkedIn killer, which is Bondex. Why wouldn't you want to get faster, cheaper talent, right? It's a win-win situation for a company. Why should you?
Why shouldn't you?
Juicy bounties, for great companies from TokenSoft.
I would literally just become a recruiter and start recommending people.
It's something that you can either do on the side or do full time. And then overall traffic, we have about 1.4 million unique visits between the website and the app.
For people to apply for jobs is typically like a stressful process because they're dependent on recruiters.
So we're not here to disrupt recruiters. I'm here to create a platform that allows recruiters to be independent from the agencies.
So, how are you, Ignacio?
Not bad. Finishing my last few days here in Spain. I'm, enjoying the better weather, and before I have to go freeze myself off in London.
Ignacio, it's a pleasure to finally do this. Thank you for coming on Decoded. It's great to have you. Pretty interesting professional background. If you can take us through how you came into Web3.
Just to make it even interesting, the first time I ever had the word Bitcoin was from Jimmy Chong. Have you heard of who Jimmy Chong is?
Jimmy Chong. I want to say yes. Sounds familiar, but also I'm not sure.
I was on scholarship at the University of Georgia. It's this big public American university in the U.S. And Jimmy Chong was a multimillionaire, and this was in 2012. And he kept talking about Bitcoin and mining, and we all thought this was this crazy computer genius. I think he just caught this last year with $3 billion worth of Bitcoin getting hacked from Silk Road. So that's the first person I ever heard about Bitcoin from when I was in university, but I didn't pay attention at all.
Yeah.
I finished university. I wanted to do investment banking in London. I did, M&A, mergers and acquisitions in the financial institutions group. So I focused on banks and fintech, and I especially like fintech, right? So I already started to kind of think that, I kind of wanted to become more of an entrepreneur, and then blockchain just bursted into the scene, and I had already heard about it. So I got in pretty early. I'm talking Ethereum at 30, Bitcoin at 600. And I became as an investor at first, but to me, it was very clear that this was the next internet and I couldn't miss out on it. So I quit my job. I was working really hard in banking, in which the environment is like, you're the junior, you create like this massive decks or Excels, and people scream at you, and you're working Sundays or Mondays. And all of a sudden I make all this money with crypto, and I'm like, listen, why am I working so hard when there's this, there's this new frontier of the internet that is here to be explored? So I quit, and I went into my first startup, which was called Expert Network, and it was meant to be also kind of an HR play in the Web3 space, but bear market came, so we pivoted to an AI filter. AI before it was cool. Match resumes with candidates through keyword matching and automation. And this is where I learned that, recruitment is a cesspool of intermediaries, people taking advantage, inefficiencies. Everyone that participates in the exchange of talent across the world is getting screwed. The companies, the recruiters, as well as the talent, especially the talent. So the startup I was at, Michael Casey, who's now the editor of CoinDesk, me and him on this whiteboard, we did this token design for what a freelancer marketplace would look like for on chain. Fast forward a few years, I went back into private equity. We exited that company, and this last bull market came, not this current one. If it's a bull market, it's a Bitcoin rally, but the previous one, the crypto jobs like market heated up. Institutional adoption was coming, and I was like, okay, this is the perfect time to launch what I call the Web3 LinkedIn killer, which is Bondex.
Yeah.
And that's sort of the full journey.
So were you always interested in HR, I guess, aspect of like the hiring process?
No, it was not something I could ever concern myself with until I joined this first company out of banking and finance. And when you're in banking, I guess you're going from project to project, a little bit like in consulting. So you become
Hmm.
a jack of all trades in the sense that, same as when you're an investor in private equity or VC, you look at a subject, you learn everything you can about a certain industry, and then you go really granular into whatever situation that deal comes in.
Yeah.
Um, and what happened with hiring was that through the startup, I just kept going and going about, kept doing all this research about the industry. And to me, it just kept blowing my mind about how inefficient it was,
Hmm.
um, how much all these intermediaries extracted so much value that they didn't provide. And then just, how also started to create this idea that Web3 principles could make for a much better system. So that's when I got excited by it.
So what's the aim for Bondex? Like, what's your goal with it? Because I know you've already hit so many milestones.
Recruitment is both people looking for opportunities and companies looking for talent. And my
Hmm.
idea is to democratize the access to opportunities for the talent and to democratize the access to talent for companies. So that would be
Yeah.
kind of that making that happen through a talent revolution and disruption of how the system of recruitment and hiring works. And the long-term vision is competing head-to-head with LinkedIn by making a better product that actually shares the value with its users.
So the overall process for people to apply for jobs is typically like a stressful process because they're dependent on recruiters, and then obviously, recruiters and recruitment companies. It's like it's kind of like almost like they bottleneck a lot of the process.
So we're not just taking on the agencies of recruiters, but we're also taking on the infrastructure of talent reputation that we have today, which is kind of LinkedIn and all the other talent platforms like Indeed and Monster, which is also stressful because you submit a resume and it's a black box. You don't know what happens there. You get
Yeah.
zero feedback. It's so discouraging and stressful for people. They're just kind of fighting this uphill fight, and all they're getting is more and more rejection with zero feedback.
Hmm.
At the time, these companies are not looking at the resume. So the system doesn't really work for the user, but it doesn't really work for the employer either. Why? Because there's this massive conflict of interest, right? The recruiters who are kind of the gatekeepers, at the end of the day, they're kind of like real estate brokers. They don't really care if they're getting the best person for the company or if they're getting the company the best person. They just want to make their fees. That's not true for everyone. But that
Yeah.
misalignment of incentives doesn't happen because of the recruiter. It happens because of the incentives the agency creates for them. So we're not here to disrupt recruiters. I'm here to create a platform that allows recruiters to be independent from the agencies who actually take most of the fees. When a recruiter finally makes, this matchmaking, which is a massive amount of value, gets someone a job to a company gets the talent, he's maybe keeping at the most 30% of that fee. So what I'm trying to do is get rid of the recruitment agencies. How does that work? What we've created is essentially applying the Uber, gig economy, Airbnb principles to recruitment. So a company submits a bounty with their job description, and the bounty
Hmm.
is to reward referrals. So then the users of the network, a lot of which are professional recruiters in the beginning, over time we will educate everyone so everyone can monetize their network and it's fully democratized. But at the beginning, recruiters have more experience, know-how, databases to actually kind of do the recruitment. Then they submit the recommendations for potential candidates. So
Yeah.
now we crowdsourced a high-quality funnel of candidates for the company. So what we do next is we filter those candidates and we do the matchmaking. We do that through AI. From there, filter a lot of people, and then on average, we'll look at, let's say we have 100 applications. From there, we'll end up with 20 candidates that our talent operations team will look at. Our talent
Hmm.
operations team is composed of experienced recruiters They do a quality assurance check, chat with the candidate for a second to see if they're actually engaged and interested. And then the company gets maybe 4 candidates which are engaged and qualified. So what you're getting here is, one, the same level of service that you would from a headhunting agency, but
Mm-hmm.
while using a professional network, you're getting charged a third of the cost. You're going much faster, especially if the company is efficient and really,
Yeah.
really on
Responsive.
and responsive, which that's a big part of why sometimes hiring processes can be inefficient. The company needs to be, have a sense of urgency as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's how we do it. That's how we describe it. And on the other side of the market, everyone gets to monetize their network, and recruiters get to be independent from the agency. So that's the Bondex formula and the secret sauce.
When we look at other job platforms like LinkedIn and Glassdoor and things like Fiverr as well, for like these, when they're just looking for freelancers, I've personally seen that there's not really much success for them with Web3 positions. Like you see them, but I don't really find that like anything's really filtered, or it's not, I feel like there's a big struggle. And this is something I find with a lot of other people who are hiring in Web3, that it's really difficult to find. Why do you think they haven't been successful? And how do you think Bondex will basically be that solution?
The platforms that you've mentioned serve very different verticals within the industry of kind of talent exchange. So Glassdoor mostly reviews about the quality of a place to work at. LinkedIn is kind of a repository of resumes and job marketplace. And Fiverr and Upwork is a freelancer marketplace. So that's the kind of contingent work. So all of them are very different. Upwork has had some success with kind of a few Web3 talent, but at the end of the day, they've all failed the Web3 kind of community. So where are they getting jobs? Up until now, everyone's been getting a job on Discord and Twitter, which has much better engagement as a platform and social network than LinkedIn does. But it's not built for talent exchange, right?
Yeah.
So it's been challenging in terms of reputation. You get a lot of problems. Eventually, everyone just has to try before they hire someone. People just have to hire a lot and then see if people are good, and the turnover in the industry is massive. So there's been a lot of issues with how people have been kind of going about it today. That's why we need a hub for careers, education, and talent in Web2, which we haven't had. The reason that it's going to work is that it's for Web3 by Web3, adhering to all its principles. The key one being redistributing the value to the users that bring value to a network. So through tokenization and gamification, we empower the users. By the users who are the ones that bring the value to a social network, we reward them. They have an upside in the success of the network, which they don't when they use Web2 platforms, in which your data is the product, your social network is the product at LinkedIn. You think you're using something for free, your network is the product. With Bondex, you can monetize your network and actually be part of the economic equation. And that's why I believe that, the Web3 crypto people will really resonate with, a new way of doing business and a new way of professional networking. That's why we will succeed where they have failed. They don't feel like those platforms represent them. They're tired of them. They're obsolete. They're stale. And they're ripe for someone to come and disrupt them.
Are you creating the platform to adhere to kind of like all of the different kinds of positions, or is it mainly like full-time roles, or is it going to be based on whatever the companies are pushing out?
The grand vision for Bondex is building, an all-encompassing end-to-end solution. But when you're building a software and a company and a platform, you got to go step by step. So the first order of business is permanent recruitment, but the natural evolution will be freelance and fractional work. So the next order of business will be, because escrow, smart contracts, payment rails, they're the perfect use case for freelance work, right? Without too many intermediaries, and also being able to reduce the fees that you charge the freelancers for them to exchange their talent. And you create a better infrastructure in which the talent has validated skills, credentials, and referrals, then they can take on more complicated projects for freelance projects. and that's a superior tool to the existing platforms that you have today. So
Yeah.
it's on the roadmap. It's a natural evolution and progression for us. But for the time being, you got to focus on one thing, do it really well, and then you move on to expanding into other verticals.
Let's talk about the figures, because you guys have already hit so many milestones. Can you tell us some of the significant milestones you've hit so far as of January 2024? Let's do as of January 2024.
So far, it's been since we released our mobile app, fully organic kind of viral loops, never paid a cent on paid advertising. We've had over 3.5 million downloads of our app. We have 300,000 daily active users, 700,000 monthly active users. This is growing week on week. I think last week we had about 30,000 new app downloads. We have a repository of about 500,000 resumes and almost 750,000 fully completed professional profiles. So that's an incredible amount of very valuable professional data that belongs to the user. We don't consider that it belongs to us like you do on other platforms, right? On the Web 2 way. Running now a closed beta for our job portal. It's a closed beta because we're not open for commercial release for any company to just hire on the platform. We have some notable names there like Figment, blockchain.com. We're part of the Chainlink Build program. They're going to be onboarding some positions soon. And I think we have about 45 jobs there, and there's $70,000 worth of bounties. So they range from 3K to 10K. So, go on there, make some referrals, recommend your friends. You're helping your friends get jobs, and you're helping companies find talent, right?
So users can go on this right now, and they can go on bondex.app and already register, and the platform's fully ready.
Absolutely. Download the app. So the app is more a professional network side. So you create your professional profile, you invite your friends. That's the more social network aspect. And the job portal, which is web-based, is where the talent exchange actually happens, because that's where the employers post their jobs, their bounties, and then they handle the candidate flow when people apply. And that's where you basically get your referral code and you send it to your friends so that they apply to the jobs. So we already at $70,000, and this was released in mid-December. So this is a closed beta, but even then, the numbers are pretty great. $70,000 worth of bounties, more or less. 25 companies. We've already got someone hired in the first 3 weeks, which was really gratifying. Everyone had a really great experience. The companies are very happy so far with the amount of candidates we're able to present. So the tool is working. We're able to through that crowdsourcing mechanism, we're able to present and build a high quality funnel of candidates for these companies very, very fast. And if I have to say, so that's kind of all the KPIs I can think of in terms of the app and the web. And then overall traffic, we have about 1.4 million unique visits between the website and the app. So the traction and engagement is great. Oh, and then one more that I like is retention. Our retention, there's something called the power user curve, which they talk about a lot, and it's meant to determine the type of monetization you do. And a social network app or a gaming app, it usually looks like a smile, which it means that by day 30 of using an app, people are coming back to use it. Therefore, you can charge very little subscription as a game. When you look at the LinkedIn app, by day 15, you have 0% of users coming back.
Interesting.
At Bondex, something interesting is that by day 30, we have 12% of users coming back to use the app. So the retention and engagement that we're doing in the app, because it's gamified, looks more like a video game than it does a talent platform. And that's extremely exciting, because more engaged users, fresher data makes for a much more valuable professional network and social network and captive audience.
Bondex as a company, you guys have been, everyone's hot topic. So let's talk about your partnerships, because you have some really great partners on board.
So number one is Diverse, of course.
Obviously.
They've been a pivotal partner for us, especially when it comes to PR, marketing, partnerships, networking. It's been really great to have them in our corner. So, thank you and kudos to you guys. Have done an incredible job connecting us to other big players in the space, and very grateful for all the help so far. Chainlink Build is very strategic for us. Number one, obviously, who doesn't know Chainlink? If you're a successful crypto company, you're using Chainlink.
Yeah.
And the reason we went with their accelerator was we were getting offered all these incentives from all these ecosystems, like, hey, come and build your token and your infrastructure on this layer one, this layer two,
Yeah.
etc. The issue is that for Bondex to be successful, it needs to be neutral. It needs to be the hub for talent in all of Web3.
Right.
And we just felt that if we became a project for a single ecosystem, it would be tough to then sell our services and products to the other ones. However, Chainlink is interesting because it's kind of the glue of the industry, and they have this unique perspective where they know which ones are the successful ecosystems because they're their clients and they see the usage. We felt that they would be the best partner because one, they're neutral, two, they're the best distribution help we can have in terms of selling to all these other ecosystems because they're their clients. And the team is fantastic there. I just want to thank, special mention to Oliver and Nicole and all the team there at the build.
Quick
Honestly,
shout outs.
very, very happy with the level of service that they give, how hands-on they are, the different departments on marketing, on strategy, on fundraising, the way they help you. It's worth it. So for the companies out there, if you're able to get a Chainlink build slot, accelerator slot, definitely do it. And the last one we partnered with that, has been really, really helpful has been CoinList. So we partnered with them to do our first ever external marketing campaign. We're ex-TradFi guys, and we built through the harsh winter with a knife between our teeth. We looked at every cent. So we had to grow the company organically. We never had any money for marketing. So we never thought about doing an external campaign. But when we were launching the job portal, we thought, okay, we probably need a big partner here to launch a campaign and to let everyone know, hey, we have a new product, the core product is a job portal. And we partnered with CoinList there, and we were able to get over 67,000 signups of their users, and their users invited more and more people. The campaign's still available. I would recommend you guys go on the CoinList landing page and sign up. And
wait a minute. When is this campaign over? Is the real question here. We don't know when this is going out.
I think the campaign might be done. I forget the exact date, but I think it should be done.
Like what month?
It should be done. It should be done early February. So you guys have the rest of January and a little bit of February to go on there because you're gonna get.
We don't know when this video out. This episode.
Okay. Well, maybe you're too late already, but if you don't,
we'll share whatever campaigns exist at that time in the description below.
And also, Open Campus, our latest partner, one of Animoco's brands, I think, kind of offshoot companies, and it's because they saw the need for a proof of education protocol. And what I mean by that is that your skills and credentials are not verified on LinkedIn, and that's a 90 billion a year problem. And education is part of the same supply chain I'm a part of. You get educated so that then you can advance your career most of the time, unless you just want to hoard knowledge and expand, expand your brain, which is obviously super cool as well. But there's no really good way to certify all of these things. And so they've done this amazing proof of education protocol that then, verifies your credential. And they're a platform. And then they aggregate a bunch of educational providers, and they basically provide an on-chain ID that proves that you've actually completed these courses and this knowledge. And it's a perfect integration for us because our plan is to disrupt the resume. A resume is obsolete, right? It's just a static list of everything you've done before. When I read everything you've done, it doesn't tell me where you're going, and it doesn't tell me how smart you are or your attitude or your ability to learn or how passionate you are about a certain subject. How do you show and prove your skills? So we need to move from a static view of someone's professional identity to really be able to see their professional potential. We need a dynamic on-chain professional identity. And part of that is having basically on-chain skills and credentials. Open Campus ID is providing that for education. And that's why we've partnered with them, because essentially in the future, when you look at your Bondex profile, you'll have your verified ticks on your education through the Open Campus ID or your Open Campus ID section. And as an employer, that will give a sign of trust. Okay, I can trust that this skills are validated and proven. Because right now, you just hire someone, you do a background check, you kind of try to do some referrals from people, you call their best friend tells you that they're amazing. Their old boss maybe doesn't answer the email. They do a background check. They tell you that they've never murdered anyone. You hire them, and you need to really 3 to 6 months to really see if you've made a good hire or not.
Mhm.
Even if we improve that by a degree, just a few degrees of efficiency, we're going to do a great thing for the world, a great impact on the labor market as a whole.
Tell me about like these integrations. So how can a company integrate with Bondex?
So there's many integrations, but I mean, the most simple one is if you need to hire talent, come and integrate on our platform. Why should you?
Why shouldn't you?
Why shouldn't you? That's easier. Number one, if you're working with an agency or any external partners, right? They're very, very expensive. Again, there's that misalignment of incentives. Instead of you just using one agency or 3 agencies, but 20 recruiters. So you're already kind of amplifying the reach by a lot of however many candidates you can get, right? And then we offer a filtering. When a recruitment agency kind of gives you their service, they want to prove that they're doing the job for you, right? And they're going they're filtering through all these candidates. So they just provide you a bunch of resumes. 80% of them don't fit the role, and the other people are actually not even available, but they need to prove that they're doing work to you, right? We don't do any of that. We invite someone to apply, and if they're really interested, they will fill out their profile and actually apply to the job, so they're actually engaged. And then we do the filtering. We do the first round of filtering for you. Again, we do that through automation technology and AI. And then we do our talent operations team. That's the last quality assurance check. So the company, instead of paying someone 20 to 30% of someone's salary, and when you're talking about a developer, that can be $30,000, $40,000, we do it for 10, 15 max. So you're getting the same level of service as a recruitment agency at a fraction of the cost. We go a lot faster, but that's also contingent on you as a company being efficient. We track how efficient you are, and we give you positive incentives, and you can earn also bond points and your reputation as a company. The faster and more efficient you are in providing feedback, not just that you're hiring faster and cheaper, but this intermediation that you're being a part of in making decentralized recruitment a reality is democratizing those recruitment fees for everyone. Recruitment is a 600 billion a year industry that is actually only enjoyed by a few gatekeepers. There's only 3.5 million recruiters in the world, and I think that's something that should be shared with a lot more people. A lot of people do this already. Someone that works at a company, ask them if they know anyone in a certain talent, and they recommend someone. And they do this matchmaking that is an incredible amount of value already, and they maybe get a bottle of wine or a dinner if they're lucky. So this is finally a system where they can actually monetize their network.
Can you explain how the bond points works?
It's what powers the mobile app. Bond points are reputation points, and you build them by building your professional profile, like submitting your resume, putting your education, eventually dynamic on-chain professional identity. But now you're just building it, and inviting your friends also gives you more points, right? And it's not you get points every time you do something. You have a rating, and the rating determines how many points you have. And you have to come to the app every day and be engaged to get those points. Then you use those points to advance your career. So what are the use cases of these points? When you apply to a job on the platform, you click to boost your application. That means it goes higher up on the pile because you show that you have more commitment, because you're spending a point that you can lose if you were a very bad fit for the role. Number two, if you want to recommend someone to a job, you need to use your bond point. So you're basically using your reputation, your tokenized reputation, you're putting it on the line. So in Web2 social networks, it's a zero-sum game. That's why you end up with a bunch of noise and spam. But here, you're putting kind of your money where your mouth is. Your word is your bond. So you're putting something on the line that disincentivizes spam and enables more ethical form of social networking, and overall just more meaningful interactions between the users and the nodes of a network, right? So that's how it works. The next use case, which I'm excited about, which we're working on, is you'll be able to exchange the bond points for courses on Udemy, Coursera, and get discounts for educational courses. So that's what you use your bond points for. Then there's the listed token. The listed token is a value redistribution token. And the way it works is we're going to be monetizing the platform by charging success fees when people get hired, right? On those bounties, there's a success fee on top as a platform fee. We will have premium subscriptions eventually for companies, as basically SaaS, as well as recruiters. Eventually, services and premium subscriptions for users as well. And then there's advertising. It's a dirty word in Web3, but actually, I think is necessary. The key difference is that users will choose if and how their data is monetized, and if they want advertising at all. And if they want advertising, they get a revenue share, or they can just pay a subscription and not have it. And all of these revenues get collected, and we replenish a ecosystem rewards pool. We take a snapshot of all the users and all their good behaviors and how much value they're adding to the network, and we do a periodic airdrop every quarter. I think airdrops are great, but what we've seen with the big layer one, layer two airdrops is that they're not great for product market fit. You get a boost up until the incentive is done, and then you kind of keep the few people that end up believing in the protocol. So I don't think that's sustainable. I believe that you have an initial airdrop to reward your early community, but then you have periodic airdrops so you can sustain. First, reward the users' new behavior, but also incentivize new users that come into the platform and create a positive flywheel. I hope that answered everything. It's a bit complex, but that's our full token economy.
No, I mean, it was a good way to explain the token economy, I think, overall, but it will be hard, I think, to keep track of for people who maybe don't understand Web3. But
go on Bondex app, download the app, look at our token economy paper.
Download link will be in the description below. Boom. Seeing that jobs in crypto kind of dropped quite significantly between August 2022 to August 2023. I think it was 15%.
From my perspective, I think companies overhired. They were over exuberant, and they hired way too much for what they needed. The lack of supply of talent drove prices up. So not only did people hire too many people, they were too expensive.
Yeah.
So the harsh reality was that when things got bad, then a lot of layoffs happened. Not to mention to the fact that as an industry overall, now we have all this infrastructure, but we don't have killer consumer apps and really product market fit as an industry that have mostly sustainable business models that can then sustain large workforces. AI is coming to play, where now maybe you can get people to do 30% more work. So that means you can hire maybe 30% less people. So what do I think is going to happen with this Bitcoin rally? The gains or the money that will come from that will trickle down into Ethereum, will trickle down into the alts, as it happens through every cycle. That means more funding for companies, which means they can actually fund more growth and hiring. Just because you have money doesn't mean you should grow your company by 100 people. It used to be a badge of honor. I have so many employees. You want an employee that's doing so many jobs and so many things that they're on the verge of dying until they really beg you to get another resource for the company. That's how you run a lean shop, and that's what companies should do. But I think for Bondex, what it means is good news. People are going to have to hire more people. I'm already seeing it. I'm already seeing a huge pickup this summer. People are hiring more, but they're already taken away from these lessons of the past, and they're being more picky about who they hire, and they're being more careful. So I think that's something healthy for the industry, right? I'm not here to just make as much money as possible. I want Web3 to succeed. If I don't succeed in bringing democratized and decentralized talent to the market, I hope someone else does, but it's going to be us, just to be perfectly clear.
I like the confidence. I was like, wow, he's being humble there. And then I saw that confidence come back.
But I think it's going to be good. And the other thing to understand is that we are a Web3 model in terms of using Web3 principles to democratize talent, and Web3 industry is our beachhead market because Web3 companies are more willing to try this approach. But once it's perfected, we're in beta, right? We're testing, we're experimenting, we're innovating, we are fine-tuning our model, our technology, our business model. When this is all done, this can work for any company in any industry in any region of the world. So we're going to be expanding into general staffing and beyond the Web3, this year.
I mean, I see it too. Being a trusted partner of Bondex and all, Devers really believes it too. So Where do you see the Web3 job market going in the next few years?
Okay, so that goes back into what you just said. Is this a real bull cycle or is this a real bull market? I think it's a Bitcoin rally, right? Because of the trends for Bitcoin itself. I think for us to have a full, I might be wrong, right? I'm hoping to have a
You know
full.
what? I'm hoping that everyone else is wrong. Like because a lot of people are like, no, I don't think this is it. I think it's just a little spike, and we're gonna come back down.
I hope it will come back down for the love of God. It's been such tough 2 years, but I don't think that the fundamental of mass adoption into Web3, which is what will drive the real big bull cycle, is here. I think that might take another 2 years because you need the killer consumer apps that fill up all this infrastructure. We have the highways now. We've built these great highways. All the issues of Ethereum have been solved. You need cars. You need use cases that work in the real world, like Bondex. I think that's what's going to lead to the real big bull cycle. Right now, it's a Bitcoin rally, which will help the industry because it means more funding and resources for the industry to build better stuff, cooler stuff, more intuitive stuff, more things where you can actually enable mass adoption. Gaming is coming hard. Like all these things that I see are great. There's trends that are helping, right? So because it's a Bitcoin rally and maybe not a full-on Web3 crypto rally, I don't think that there's going to be that exuberance of jobs
in the next few years.
I think it's going to take 2 years for things to really heat up again. So
What?
I think to heat up again, but I think things are stable. What I'm seeing for, let's say it's just the next 12 months, I see a lot of rotation. There's a lot of big companies that are overhired that are having to let go of 20% of their workforce. And there's never been a supply of talent in the Web3 with actual Web3 skills and knowledge. So all that talent will get recycled into smaller, younger companies, younger projects, other projects that have funding in the right timing. So I think there's going to be a reshuffling of talent within Web3 versus maybe adding much more into the mix until we have a full bull cycle that involves a lot of companies. And then we will basically see a massive surge in Web3 jobs. And also, we need to do a good job of selling it to them, right? Sometimes it's not easy to convince people to join Web3 because there's the stigmas of risk, etc. But I think, we also have to wash away all the bad things that happen with all the bad actors. But I think the sentiment is much better now, and we have a good shot of attracting smart people into this, which is what we need. A key to success is for us to attract world-class talent to make this industry a success.
Didn't like where you said the 2-year thing, but it's fine. I'll let it go.
I think we can sustain high prices for 2 years, and then it'll be like boom. You know what I mean? Like I think
I need that boom.
But the boom needs to be earned. There needs to be use cases that really enable mass adoption. Like it needs to come.
These last 2 years, I think we've earned it now.
I fully agree that the tourists are gone and the builders kept building through all these harsh conditions, and they definitely deserve to see it. We're about to go to Denver, right? And we're going to see how full that conference is, and everyone's going to be going crazy and blah, blah. But who was there in the last 2 years at the conferences when the booths were kind of empty and you actually got to talk to people and really see who the engineers were? So it's interesting. It's interesting. I think it makes you keep your guard up. There's a lot of, I think that it's cowboys and Indians in this industry. It's a mix of geniuses, crooks, and people who are just there to make
That's so true.
And a quick buck. So your reputation is so important.
You know what? This is what I'm excited to see with Bondex, though, because reputation is everything in Web3. The minute people doubt you or the minute you've shown some sort of, let's say, some shady attitude in the business, or you've launched a project that was unsuccessful, or you've been associated with rugging people. This is also true for KOLs. So this is also going to be very interesting to see within the Bondex platform how these people try to come back in this next run and try to rebuild themselves. Because I don't think the Web3 community is very big on second chances. So I'm quite excited to see, because I have a feeling a lot of these people are going to be coming back in, and I feel like Bondex would be a really good platform for anyone, but I think that these people specifically will probably be trying to rebuild their presence.
I believe in second chances as well. Not to sound back on Freeman or someone like that, or the Luna guy. or someone like that. But like if a KOL made a mistake, like okay, that's fine. But your reputation in this industry is everything, and also vetting who you're doing business with takes time to build that trust. It's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
immediate, right?
From a
So
KOL perspective, it's more so like if they've been associated, they just get so many haters. That's why, like, for them, it's like it's tough, I would say.
it's never worth it to go for that quick buck because you can build a reputation over a lifetime and you can lose it in a minute.
Where do you think Bondex will be January 2025?
This is my dream list. Okay,
Yes, let's hear it.
my dream scenario. We've cornered the Web3 marketing, which we're the company that every Web3 company wants to go to for hire. We've accumulated all the smart human capital in the space,
Mhm.
and we're starting to dip our feet into general staffing and starting to, David to Goliath, LinkedIn. And that would be the ideal 12 months for me.
I think that's doable. Can you talk about the process for all of these, like, let's say these big Web3 businesses that, let's say for these Web3 companies, if they want to have like their own little job portal and all these things,
Yeah.
how does that, how easy is it for them to integrate?
Easy as pie, but something to understand is that every company is a plethora of ecosystem. Every company has their own workflows and processes, right? Every
Yeah.
company uses a different software, and the smaller companies is very easy for them because they don't have an applicant tracking system. They don't have human resource management systems, so they can just use us as that. But for every bigger company, there's big players in the space. The most predominant ones are Lever, Greenhouse, Ashby. Then you go a step above that, which is full HR systems, which is like Babu HR or Workday. And so big companies use that already. In order for them to really seamlessly use Bondex, we're working on integrating via API for them. But for them to try it right now, they just need to go on there, sign up, make a little profile, and book a call with one of us in order to kind of click from pending to live. And then they'll have a live company profile. And then they can upload their job description there, put a bounty, and start receiving candidates right away. I mean, it's really, really an easy experience.
I still have to book that call. I got the email, for Deepers.
Gotta book it out.
Yeah, I will. Because I'm trying to see, because I know when I was going through it, there was like individual, or was it? I think it was as an individual or as an organization.
You can sign up as a recruiter. You can sign up as an individual or as an employer. But once you've signed up as one of those roles, then you can actually play other roles as well and sign up as, you can be act as a recruiter, but also be talent. And that's the beauty of it. People on LinkedIn, they use it every 2 years. When they get a job, they don't go back there, right? That's why it's a lot of stale data and low engagement. The beauty of it is it's much more sticky and engaging on Bondex because you can play multiple roles at once and take an active role in the matching of the supply and the demand and the growth of the ecosystem and get rewarded economically for it.
Will people be able to like post and do things as they would do on LinkedIn? Like just build their reputation and their actual like personal profile through Bondex?
Of course, that's the plan. Good product takes time to build. So user generation content, newsfeed, educational marketplace, these are all things,
In the
maybe,
pipeline?
a wallet, right? A wallet makes a lot of sense on there. There's a lot of things that we want to build, but I think when you're a startup and you're young, focus is your friend. And you need to deliver one product, one core product that works really well. Make sure it works. Make sure it's sustainable. It gives you cash flow. And from there, you start expanding into more features. It needs to be a very well thought out roadmap that you release carefully onto your user base.
I like it. I like the way you're thinking. It makes us proud as partners. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. You might not know because it's in one video, but we've had to regroup so that we can have Ignacio actually take us through a nice little run through of the demo for Bondex.
Thank you very much, Dina. Yes, we are back, and we're going to start with the demo of the mobile app. So this was our first product, in our beta product, and what we wanted to accomplish with this was a paint to door test for the demand of a Web3 LinkedIn. We also achieved community market fit and bootstrapped and the network with users to release products and services with. And the idea here, which is something that we were talking about before, is the gamification and tokenization aimed at empowering users to have an upside in the success of the network. The way it works is that it's powered by a premium currency called bond points, and they're meant to equal your reputation. You come in every day to earn them, and the rating at which you earn them is determined by how robust is your professional identity or your professional profile. So, uploading your resume, putting your kind of work experience, education, and resume, all of that adds you basically points. Also, the size of your network, which is very easy to kind of invite any friends here with your QR code or sharing it on your Telegram or Discord channels or just directly with a friend. And then again, here to show the profile, I'll go over some of the editing, but for example, this is how you would fill in, telling us about yourself in making a bio, where you're located, your social links. All of this would just be your bio. And again, you can do the same thing for your job preferences, your skills, experience, education, resume. The more complete it is, the better the filtering and matching is going to do to the job opportunities. You also have notifications. There's no on the PWA, since it's a demo, you can't see it here, but we do a lot of career advancement opportunity, like workshops here, like for example, how to make the best possible resume. And lastly here, what you have here is the featured jobs. So again, this is demo. So some of these jobs are, for example, for the Wayne Enterprises, but just for you to check them out, you would have all of the bells and whistles that you would want, social channels, really the major tags that you would be looking at as a candidate. More
So
details.
this is the perspective of a candidate, right?
This is all the perspective on the candidate, because for the mobile app, that's where the talent is going to be. That the mobile app is a professional social network.
Right.
So the candidate is basically where they build their professional profiles and identities. And on the web is where they're going to be applying to jobs as well. So this is where the web and the mobile app gets connected, which is through the jobs. And here, when you apply, this is the first utility of our bond points, which is you can use your bond points to boost your application, meaning you're showing more commitment, you're putting your reputational points on the line, and your resume basically goes higher up in the list of candidates. And that's our app right there. We're going through a few upgrades soon, and very, very soon we'll also have our bounty jobs on the platform. So again, just to go over it one last time to wrap it up, the idea here is that it's powered by a premium currency like a video game. Think about Roblox or other video games. The idea is that the gamification keeps track of how much value you're adding as a user, as a talent user to the network, and you are rewarded with bond points that then you can use to advance your career. And eventually, when we have our airdrop next year, all of these factors basically enable you to have an allocation in the airdrop. So some of the factors are your activity rate, the size of your network, how complete your profile is. All of these things basically add up to it. And this is the app. Now I'm going to go over to a demo of our job portal. So our job portal, by the way, it's on, Bondex.app, and this is the actual website. But what I'll be showing today is actually more of a demo on like a Figma prototype demo. But this would be a website. You can come here to do more research. Whether you're a recruiter, talent, or a company, we explain everything in a lot of detail. And the active and live job portal is right here with, I think, about $50,000 to $60,000 worth of bounties with some very exciting companies. It's taking a little bit of time to load. But here we have 37 jobs active for all our beta clients. And again, we are in beta. So we're in testing, iteration, experimentation, improvement, fine-tuning the model so that we can do commercial release for an unlimited amount of companies and start scaling the network and the job portal probably in March. But you have some great jobs here: Space and Time, Ready Games, Blockchain, and as you can see here, you can earn up to $8,000, which is pretty great. And you have all the bells and whistles here. But for the purpose of doing the demo, I'm going to do our Figma prototype, which takes you back to the job portal. This would be the perspective of someone that is a talent. And again, the beauty of it is they could also be playing the role of a recruiter. So you can either find a dream job for yourself, or you can get paid for referring the right person. Again, recruiting to earn, or democratized recruitment. So you would look here, you would look at all the positions available, you would look at all the filters on the left to actually look what matches you, or you could be looking for jobs with bounties because you're going to make referrals. And for the purpose of this demo, I'll be doing a referral. So this is a position for a blockchain engineer for Decentraland, which is actually one of our beta clients. It would have all of the relevant information that you would want to look at, including a video from the hiring manager, the overview, the skills. This skills tags over here, for example, does the matching with the skills tags in the profiles that you have on the Bondex app and helps with our filtering and matching. All the requirements, responsibilities, the perks of working at the company, and this is important, the hiring process. So we outlined this carefully because in the first iteration of our product and services, which we're in early days, we're going to be rewarding the successful recruiter that basically recommends a successful candidate. But eventually, we'll be splitting out the bounty to reward actually the candidate who gets hired, and also all of the recruiters who referred someone that made it to the third or fourth interview or stage of the process. So let's say that you got your friend to get to the technical test, or your referral to make it to the technical test. Maybe you're making $100, really democratizing and gamifying the entire process. We also have a little bit more, aggregating a bit more information for example, Glassdoor, about the company values, and even the funding rounds for you to have all the information that you would want before you recommend a friend or apply directly. So then you could apply directly, or you could refer a friend to earn up to $10,000. In my case, I'm going to make a unique referral link for my friend Liam, and I would fill in a little bit of, why do I think he's a good fit? And I would be spending one of those bond points I've earned. If you sign up as a recruiter, you also get some of these bond points. When you run out, you have to basically earn a little bit more reputation points to do them. So what's the key difference here? This tokenized reputation represents a great innovation in terms of social networks, because Web2 social networks today, in my view, are zero-sum games. There's no negative or positive, whatever information you put out there. So you end up with a bunch of noise, really, and spam. I don't know about you, but my LinkedIn is basically a bunch of
a lot of spam.
People try to tell you things.
People try to jump on a call.
Exactly. So here you have a little bit more at stake, because you're putting your reputation on the line. It's a kind of a disincentive and filter for spam, and also essentially something that fosters one, a more ethical form of social networking, but also more meaningful interconnections. And that's the idea of using these bond points and this premium currency to interact. These are just the first two use cases. We're going to have more and more, like, for example, paying for educational courses, your on-chain reputation, all these things, will come, and the platform's going to get, only better. So here I would generate this unique referral link. I would copy it and I would send it to my friend Liam. Now this is a view from Liam. So Liam arrives here at the same job description, but this time it's been tracked that I myself, in this case Gloria, have recommended Liam to the job, who would then apply directly. So he could log in and begin his onboarding. Sorry, 1 second.
Oh, I also just had a coughing fit.
Sorry about that.
No, bless you. I don't know what people say when you cough. I just say bless you.
Thank you. So here we are, and you need to tell us a little bit about yourself. And this is where you begin the onboarding and actually begin creating your professional profile. Our end goal is for you to become a user of the mobile app after you fill in your profile. It's designed that you're basically, building your professional identity while you're applying to the job at the same time. So you tell us your preferences, your location, what type of salary you're making at the moment or you would like to make, your skills tags, And finally, if there's any company questions like, or visa requirements or time zone requirements, or whether you need to be a Web3 native or you can be someone less experienced, all of
Yeah.
this can be submitted with the application. And again, here we would then try you to download the app, and you would already have a fully completed profile there. But you could also on the web look at the dashboard, and this would be your dashboard in which you can see how many job applications you've done. You would see your point balance that would match that one on the app, and you see the full dashboard on the stages that you're in the different interviews that you've kind of applied for. And this is that same job. Now, when you look at here, is what you're going to see now is that you've applied to this job, that it's live. You're going to see that Gloria Mendes, who's a top recruiter, has recommended you the note that she's made and all of the relevant information that anyone needs to look at to filter you as a candidate, and then hopefully get you either accepted or rejected, giving you some feedback, moving you on to the interview process. The next thing I'd like to show is what does this look like for the recruiter that recommended you. Something I'm really excited about is a recruiter score. Recruiting and headhunting in general is a bit of an opaque industry. So for the first time, there's going to be a new level of transparency in which recruiters are going to really be able to showcase their performance and basically their skills. So here I would also be looking at how many candidates have submitted, the different stages that they're in, and the bounties that I stand to win. So again, it's that same position here. In my referral that was made 3 days ago with Liam, who has applied. And something else cool is that us Bondex, we don't just create a funnel of candidates. That's what LinkedIn does. And what happens with the current talent platforms is that people just submit a bunch of resumes. A lot of the time, or 80% of those resumes are usually from unqualified people. So HR people spend most of the time just filtering through resumes and through profiles that are not a fit. So that's a very low value, high volume task that can be avoided through technology and automation. So what we do is, from when people apply, we do the first round of screening. We do this through an AI basically matching algorithm. That's a keyword matching between kind of the resume and the candidate. And then we have an internal talent operations team that's composed of experienced recruiters that actually go through the profiles, do a quality assurance. And that's why the company doesn't just see the applied. They only see once they've been accepted, and then they can basically go on to the interview process.
Interesting. So you guys basically take the first round of filtering through the applicants.
That's exactly correct. So we take away the noise and we only present highly engaged, qualified candidates, which is very different from what you have today as a service from an agency or a talent platform. This is the view from a company. So for this, for example, for these 4 candidates that are fully ranked and rated by Bondex, we've talked to them. We know that they're actually engaged. We know that they're interested. We know that, and we've checked that they're qualified. And for this 4 good candidates, maybe we've rejected 200 by the time that you get them. So we've done this really quality assurance test. We've taken out the noise. It's essentially providing the same level of service that you would from a recruitment agency, or even better, at a fraction of the cost and much faster. Yeah. So that's a disruption for the companies. That's why the companies, are going to really enjoy using the Bondex platform. And on the other side, we're enabling, recruiters to be independent from the recruitment agency because they're making just as much money. They get to keep all of it, even though the bounty is smaller. So because they're giving the piece away to the agency they work for, they're actually earning absolute value just as much. And our idea is that over time, people start monetizing their networks more and more and get educated into, making these referrals and become part of the game and, kind of learn how to recruit to earn. And that's it. That's the demo for today's, guys. I recommend you to go to Bondex.app and start looking at the active bounties. We have quite a few, as you can see here, juicy bounties, for great companies from TokenSoft.
I would literally just become a recruiter and start recommending people.
It's something that you can either do on the side or do full time.
I actually might recommend this to some people to do full time. That was really, really good. Thank you so much, Ignacio, for that. And thank you for coming on again to show us this demo. I've never watched a single one, and I'll tell you why. I cannot watch myself. I cringe. I feel so uncomfortable.
You're like a TV presenter. You're amazing. What are you talking about?
You're so good to be,
I
Ignacio,
was
but
just
no,
gonna
I
say
can't.
that
Why are
Dina
you
has,
here, Jer?
because I'm about to compliment you, please. I was
Okay,
just about to
go
say
on.
that even without Dina watching herself and analyzing for performance improvement, she's done great progress in the past year-ish that we have been doing that. Imagine how far we can come if you start watching Decoded.
I'm never watching it. I
Oh,
had to
you will
watch.
understand.
No. I had to watch one because I had to provide the edits. So as I was watching it, I was like, oh, as I spoke.
A lot of actors are like this. They can't watch themselves.
I am an actress, I know, at heart. I'm one of them. Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching. As always, what I hate to say, but I know I need to, please like, comment, and subscribe. And please share some videos that you would like to see or guests that you would like me to interview. I can't promise I'll get them, but I will ask. It's over. Cut.